Better late than never. Jeez.
Matt,
What happened
your
anyway?
subconscious has returned.
It was almost
This
like
time,
I
make
left
fun
you
of
guys
you.
just sitting here doing nothing. That would have been rude. If that's what happened, that would have been rude. There's
we
no
were,
way I left you hanging.
around. Then we wandered over to the chat. Up to shenanigans, basically.
Well, I'm just
What would
saying.
have been really rude is if one of us got on the mic and was pretending to be your subconscious, feeding you.
Oh yeah.
feeding you.
Well, good thing that didn't happen.
Yeah, that would have been unprofessional.
Yeah, like while I'm on another show, Jake is sitting there like making fun of me and stuff. Like,
And
good thing that didn't happen.
She's not here. Andrea's not here.
That's true.
She doesn't even have the show up on her channel. Oh,
I don't know what I would have done if Andrea was here. That would have been tough. Okay, look, let me explain. I'm really sorry, everyone. Here's what happened. I thought I was going to be able to be on another podcast and let this one go live. What I don't know why. What I didn't think of was I would be hearing this show through my headphones the entire time.
that is suck ass.
Now,
Yeah.
maybe I could have dealt with that because I watch more than one of these shows at a time, right?
Yeah.
But would they have heard me through my headphones into my mic? Would they have heard you?
We don't know.
And so I was like, I can't do it. Fuck. And then I was about to do it, and I was like, can you guys just not shout?
Jesus Christ.
That was
that's
ballsy.
funny.
That would work. I screwed it up.
Well,
I'm sorry.
it was an interesting show. It was good, and every time we hear Harvey's stories, we hear how you did it and came up with it, and it's more to learn. That's all. It's more learning.
I got a cheap ass pitch for
I'm
you.
awake.
Okay.
You guys should when you do. I like that you guys do a segment where you read a bit of the comic. You should do any page that you haven't already read, especially if you get the hosts to read a part, because eventually you can clip it together. You got yourself an audio comic.
That's not a bad idea. Somebody along the way mentioned something like that, but not that exactly. But look, what are you guys up to? Let's talk about you, please.
After you, Sandy.
There's nothing to talk about. What am I?
What do you got going on?
Canning food, vegetables. Have to go out in the garden. I was in Buffalo today, so it was too much driving. Taking care of hospice cats, being anxiety ridden over weather. What else is new? Climate, science, research. We have a big show Friday night. Our show Friday night is State of the Planet, and it's got the whole team. It has Jim Massa, oceanographer, and Antonio, who you read, who was with me.
Oh yeah, we love him.
I love Antonio.
And and Antonio, Jennifer, and Nicholas Humphrey, who's just about done with his PhD in disaster management.
Yeah,
gonna be real relevant soon.
It's real relevant now. Yeah.
I watched a show of yours recently. What was it called? Three Doomigos?
Environmental Coffee House.
Oh, the younger guys. Yeah, the younger.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
Yeah.
Like, you're such a good host, being able to manage three people like that, no problem. Like, it's so seamless. Yeah, you're fantastic at it. I love your stuff. I do think that also, like, we got to get Antonio back on this show.
Yeah,
Can you do that?
Well, let's see what he's up to on Friday night. What topic? He's usually likes to talk about sea level rise, but he's really been into studying religion.
He knows a lot of stuff too.
He's very
we can talk
historical.
about that.
Yeah, he's got a lot of depth. I'll ask him. Absolutely.
That'd be great. Yeah.
If
Very,
in my head,
very deep.
the Left Past 10 highlights includes a lot of that discussion with Antonio. That was a fun one, man.
Yeah, we had him on 3 times or something. I don't know. We got to get him back on.
I know, just
so
once.
Cool.
He was on
More
with
than once.
me. He was on the first time I was with you, Matt.
Yeah, and then there was a time.
Boy,
there
we've
was at
had
least one time when
45
Jake
shows.
wasn't there, I think.
Well, we'll ask Antonio to come back.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
of course, 45, my least favorite number these days, is like the show that's derailed. Anyway, sorry about that again, you guys. My bad.
Yeah. All right, I'm picking it up to see what the chat's in 3 different places.
Like my flaw was thinking
Everybody's
was
sleeping.
in my hubris. I was
Yes.
thinking, oh no, I
Feed into
can
your
pull this
hubris.
off, but of course, dumb. Just dumb. Should have. Anyway, my bad.
We got to be bold, you know. If we're not occasionally falling on our face, it means
Call
we're not
me
trying.
Icarus. Yeah. I
Yeah,
get
Icarus flew. Okay, before they
Yeah.
even had balloons that did that. Credit to Icarus.
it.
First powered flight. Anyway.
Well, there is something that we could talk about here.
Ooh,
All right.
all right, hit me.
We are in the midst of
A collapse.
majority wars.
Oh, the majority.
They continue.
wars.
So we are.
I saw that on there. I was
Yeah.
watching the show and I saw them ask John from San Antonio.
It was awkward.
I was on their show last week.
Yeah.
On the Majority Report last Friday, and
Yeah.
everything was fine. We're joking about it, haha. And then this happened.
726 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Good afternoon, Sam and Emma. This is John from San Antonio.
John from San Antonio. It's great to hear from you. Didn't recognize the 726. You got a new phone.
Yeah. Do I sound okay?
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Okay.
Why'd you get the
All
new
right,
phone? Do you use a
yeah,
different phone on the leather hack? Is this a burner? Is this a burner phone for your mistress, the Majority Report?
No, because I'm on. They can see me on the Letter Hack show, so there's no phone involved.
All right.
yeah.
That's gotta
All right.
hurt.
Ooh, and you can hear. I think that was Bradley in the background going, exactly. Oh,
Poor John.
you guys. It's like, yeah, okay, for one, poor John. But I was just on there. They could have addressed it with me while I was on there.
Oh, this
Look, I
drama.
wanna
I can't
congratulate-
handle the drama.
I just have to congratulate Matt Bender for pulling the very wise J. Cole and ditching the night before, going on vacation early to avoid the drama. It was, good call. Good call.
Yeah. And then, so they have this whole call with John, and then this.
All right, John,
Right.
appreciate you calling in. We'll talk to you again soon. And people
All right.
can check you
All right,
out
take
on the
care.
Letter Hack show tonight.
I'm not going to be on the Letter Hack show tonight.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not. No. Live primary squad members, all that's over with. I will
All
probably
right.
be on in about 3 or 4 weeks, but I'll tell people on the call when I
right.
call into this show about it at that point.
All right. Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Okay, take care. All right.
Look, we got a little drama apparently happening on the.
Oh, yeah.
Trouble
we
in
do.
Paradise.
We have one.
Yeah, I guess so. Not so easy. The podcast game's not so easy. People seem to think it is. Can't just jump
A lot
right
of
in.
drama behind the scenes.
Can't just jump right in, folks.
John comes crawling back to his ex, huh?
Oh, that's
And
funny shit.
I'll tell you what. Podcasting isn't a joke. And I'll prove it. I didn't have a show last night because, like John said, those special election coverages that Jake was a champ for sitting in on with us
Yes.
are over now.
That's right.
And I was on another podcast last night.
Boom.
And
And
I,
2 tonight. So
you're
not like I don't know.
burning the candle at every single end possible.
And they're the ones talking about drama.
Yeah.
So
No drama. I want to be drama free, and it seems to follow me at times.
I mean, yeah, it does. Anyway,
Oh, thanks. Yeah, me. All right.
just kidding.
I know.
So anyway, I'll get a bunch of clicks from that.
Couple of things.
Yeah.
I had you guys in one ear bowl, and I was listening to the DNC with another.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
how's Bill Clinton doing?
Oh, God.
He did really well.
I
I
didn't-
know I'm not.
I don't like him, but he did say he's younger than Donnie.
No,
I'm
I'm not I'm not a Bill Clinton fan, obviously, but I appreciate him for his ability to be charismatic, and he was that, and he was helping the greater cause tonight. Same thing, same thing as with Hillary. I don't like what she did in the past, but what she is trying to do now, good, do it. And he said something which is great messaging for like normies to hear.
Something. Okay.
He said, there have been 51 million jobs created in America since the fall of the Soviet Union. And the score is Democrats 50, Republicans 1. That is good. That's effective messaging.
Okay, well, I was on my family chat and I wrote to my mom. It's my mom and my brothers and my daughter. And I wrote, Clinton I could do without. He's really Republican and he put the worst bills in ever. He was a horrible president. And she writes, Sandy, you are too cynical.
You're accurate.
My mother's 90, I mean, she's and then so I said, no, I'm a student of history. And my brother said, he puts in Goldilocks. He was making the funny referral to what Michelle, whoops. Here we go again with the stupid camera.
Obama.
Michelle Obama said, don't get cold. Well, she's not wrong, but for any of us,
it was any of us. Great speech by Michelle Obama. Great first lady. Great everything. Nice person, right? Still don't see why people think she should be president. What am I like? On the one hand, anybody could be president. Go for it. I don't care. Run. What do you got? Tell me why you should be president. But why are people just assuming that she should be?
That's such a good question. My two libertarian right-wing friends from California, I visited her in Toronto when she's originally from Toronto. She says to me out of the blue, she goes, Bill and I would love to see Michelle Obama run. That's who we would. I was like in shock. Where did you get that?
It's like the dynasty thing, right?
That's kind of weird because I figured, well, maybe they're Trumpers, but I don't know now. But I know Bill's a libertarian. He's, raging libertarian.
I do think it was cool that Kamala was packing multiple stadiums, or arenas or whatever in different towns in the same night. Like, that's pretty powerful stuff, I think.
I think Governor Walz is on. He's the one I wanted to see. All the other, most of the other people. I clicked in for Oprah and I just thought, well, she's got a pretty goddamn.
I mean, is Walz on now? Should we try and watch it, Jake?
Oh, I'm 100% down for that.
You have a link?
Thompson crushed it, by the way. Let me see. I'll have a quick gander.
It would save me from having to
I don't know,
have literal on-air spats.
No, the letter hack's on. Either. Sorry, that's a joke my dad used to make whenever we'd go out to dinner.
You come home and your car's there. Oh, Jake's here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Or he'd be like, Mom's home, or vice versa. Or even if he was driving Mom's car, he'd be like, oh, look, Dad's home. And I was dumb enough to say, oh. I don't. It's still going on. Let me.
You have a link. What do you watch? C-SPAN. What do you C-SPAN guy?
Press.
Oh,
who do I have
when I can, but Associated Press has been covering it of late. Oh, Tim Walz is on.
Yeah, he's on now, but we're gonna miss it. We can watch it tomorrow.
Not that first one. It's the second one. Second one I sent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we're all together. I know he's on there, and probably how many people are watching in the country? Millions, you think?
Oh, I got to assume.
Watching him. Well, I just looked at Brian Tyler Cohen's got 62,715 on YouTube.
Good Lord.
Looking at all these different people. There's so many different.
The rest of my family.
Oh, look.
Can you hear it?
Love with teaching.
Yeah. Why not?
Oh,
Three.
Yeah.
3 out of 4 of us married teachers. I wound up teaching social studies and coaching.
One became a teacher
at Mankato West High School. Go Scarlets!
Shout out to the old high school. That's adorable.
And he likes shooting guns.
We ran.
I mean,
we ran a 44 defense We played through to the whistle on every single play, and we even won a state championship. Never closed the yearbook, people. But it was those players and my students who inspired me to run for Congress. They saw in me what I had hoped to instill in them, a commitment to the common good, an understanding that we're all in this together.
It's also worth noting that I'm studying his hairline for what I must do in about
can make
4
a real
years.
difference for their
Oh, it's
neighbors.
happening for me even now.
You
You
found a way to make it work.
40-something high school
My
teacher
style,
with
my
little
style of
kids,
balding, I'm calling
zero political
aggressive.
experience and no money, running in a deep red district.
Got a
But you know
Highlander
what?
situation.
I think
Never underestimate a public school teacher.
Yeah.
Never.
Look at that.
I
That's got to
represented
strike fear in the
my
heart of
neighbors in
fascists.
Congress for
Coach
12
Walz.
years, and I learned an awful lot. I learned how to work across the aisle on issues like growing the rural economies.
I don't want to hear
taking
about
care
working
of
across the aisle.
And I
right
learned
now.
how to compromise.
Let's make there no other
without
side of
compromising
the
my
aisle
values.
with voting.
Yeah, and Obama
Then
came
I
out
came
last
back
night and said,
to
Kamala
serve
will
as
fight
governor,
for you. And
and
that's
we got
exactly what we don't
making
want
a
to
difference in our
hear.
neighbors' lives.
The whole
We
fighting
cut taxes
thing.
for the
Wars,
middle class.
That's a
For
dumb
you.
thing to say.
Yeah.
We passed
She
paid
will
family
nice.
and medical leave.
Hire us to fight. She will lead us
We
in the fight. That's what
invested
we
in
want.
fighting
We don't want
crime
somebody
and
to go fight
affordable
for
housing.
us.
Yeah.
We
It's
cut
important
the
to
cost
note
I
the
hate even
audience.
fighting.
and help people escape the kind of medical debt that
The
nearly
audience
sank
for
my
this
family.
is somebody who has no
And
idea
we
what's
made
going
sure
on.
that every kid in our state
Yeah, as long as
gets
they flash
breakfast
that
and
applause
lunch every
sign,
day.
people will clap, and the people at home will go, "This must be good." They're clapping.
I mean, it
So
really is
while other states
that simple.
were
Yes.
banning books from their schools, we were banishing hunger from ours.
If they would have turned on boo, then
We also
I
protected
mean, you get it.
reproductive freedom because in Minnesota, we respect our neighbors and the personal
The
choices they
target
make.
audience, I should say, because a lot of the
And
people watching are
even
going to be
if
furious.
we
Like,
wouldn't
why are
make
they
those same
saying
choices
this,
for
that, or the other
ourselves,
thing? And that's
we've
all
got a
I'm saying. Is
golden rule.
understand that the people
Mind
they're
your
trying
own
to
damn
reach with
business.
this have no idea what's going on.
That's why we
They
need
don't know their own middle
alternative
name.
commentary too.
I don't
you know?
like
And that
that.
includes
Oh, we should listen
IVF
to
and fertility treatments.
that.
This is
We're
personal.
doing it
for Gwen
MR
and I.
style.
Tired of hearing this.
You want me to mute
If
him?
you've never
No,
experienced
I
the
have
hell
so many
that is
different
infertility,
thoughts when I think about
guarantee you know
all
somebody
of
who
this.
has.
when it
And I
talk, they
can
don't
remember
talk about.
praying
They
each
never
night
said one thing
for a
about
phone call.
flood victims
pit in
and
your
storm
stomach
victims and
when
all
the
the
phone
shit
had
that's
rang,
really hit the
and
fan
the
all
absolute
over this
agony
country.
when we heard the treatments hadn't worked.
It's not just about
took
jobs;
Gwen
it's
and I
about
years,
people having fucking place to
but we
live.
had access to
Sorry,
fertility
A
treatments.
planet.
That's true.
I
When
forgot
our
we're
daughter
live.
was
Having a
born,
planet.
we named her Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hope,
yeah.
Gus.
He's not
and
VP
Gwen,
yet. Let me know if you want
are
me to
my
mute him.
entire world.
No, I
and
like
I love
him.
you.
I think he's sweet. You don't say that very often about politicians. Somebody that seems.
Is that his son?
I'm letting
Jeez.
you in
Yeah.
on how we
They're an
started a
emotional
family,
bunch, but I like that.
I like
actually.
because
that.
this is a
Yeah.
His
big
wife looked like
part
she was going to
about what
cry
this
every
election is
time I
about.
tuned in, and they
Freedom.
put her on.
I mean,
When
Yeah, it doesn't seem
when
like it's
Republicans
chemically
use the
enhanced
word
either.
freedom,
Like
they mean
Trump's
the government
kids.
should be free to invade your doctor's
think about this
Right
guy.
now, I am chemically enhanced.
corporations free to pollute your air and water.
Think about this guy's life 20 years
And
ago,
banks
though. Think
free
about
to take advantage
you know
of
this
customers.
guy's life when he was. Wait a minute.
But when we
Hold on.
Democrats
I'm gonna
talk
Google
about
something.
He
freedom,
wasn't
we
Donald
mean the
Trump.
freedom to
Jake,
make
you
a
want me to
better
mute him?
life for yourself
No.
and the people
Hello.
that you love.
I'm just gonna keep asking you.
Freedom to
2006.
make your
yeah,
own
so
healthcare
18
decisions.
ago, when these kids were
And yeah,
really little,
your
he
kids'
took his
freedom to
first
go to
job in
school
politics.
without worrying about being
So-
shot dead in the hall.
This has got to be a hell of a surprise to them. Like, holy Dad's
know
in the Super
guns.
Bowl, basically.
I'm a veteran. I'm a hunter.
And
I
he
was a
listens
better
to
kid
his
than
kids.
most Republicans in Congress, and I got
He
the
gets
trophy.
his-
I'm not a
He'll
hunter.
take-
I,
Public utility, grounded in reality. I'll take it.
But
yeah.
I'm also a dad.
there you
I
go.
believe in the Second Amendment.
It
But
just
I
makes
also
sense that
believe
it's so
our
emotional
first
for them.
responsibility is to keep our kids safe.
Boom. That's
Remind me
something
to-
else they keep mentioning is that
That's what
kids
this
are
is
getting
all about. The
KILLED
responsibility
in
we have
schools.
Yeah.
to our kids.
And I
to
like
each
how he
other,
calls it gun
and to
violence
the future
laws and
that
gun
we're
violence
building
reform,
together,
not just
in which
gun
everyone
reform.
is free
Yes.
to build the
I haven't
kind of
heard anyone
life
say that
they
before
want.
him. Maybe I'm not paying attention, but
But not everyone
The
Good
next
has that
thing
same sense of
I
responsibility.
hope they point out
Some
is
folks
that
just don't
Donald Trump
understand what it
is
takes
surrounded
to
by
be a good
bulletproof
neighbor.
glass, and our
Take
kids are
Donald
not.
Trump and JD
Right.
Vance.
yep, that's a great point, man.
He gets shot at once.
Their project
Bulletproof glass.
2025 will make things much, much harder for people
Remind
who
me, I
are
have a
just
few
trying to live their
discussion
lives.
points around
They spent a lot
all
of
of
time
this stuff.
pretending they know
Their
nothing
campaign
about this.
when he's done.
But look, I
Okay.
coached high school
Of
football
course,
long
I'll
enough to
happily
know
mute
and
him at
trust
any
me on
time if you
this.
want.
When somebody
No,
takes
all
the
right.
time to
I
draw
think
up
this
a
is perfect.
playbook, they're going to use it. And we know if these guys get back in the White House, they'll start jacking up the costs on the middle class. They'll repeal the Affordable Care Act.
Thank
They'll
you.
gut Social Security and Medicare.
Yeah, I think
Whoever's
they'll do
daughter is the
And they
fashion
will ban
designer.
abortion across
wanna
this
shake her
country with or
hand.
without Congress.
that.
Because yesterday I saw her outfit, and I
Here's the thing.
Emhoff,
It's an agenda
Yeah.
nobody asked for.
they're
Saw
making
her
fun of
outfit,
her.
and
It's
The
an
right wing.
I wanted to-
agenda that serves
Why?
nobody
Because they're horrible
except
people.
the richest
Oh,
and the most
right.
extreme amongst us.
I wanted to pause it and just like look
And
up
it's
the
an
outfit
agenda
itself. It was that good.
does nothing.
And
for
then
our
I found
neighbors
I
in need.
Googled who she is. I'm like, how nobody
Is it
just dresses
weird?
this well. And then I saw, oh, fashion
Absolutely.
designer. Cool.
But it's
She
also
just did
wrong.
a great ad for herself.
And it's
Yeah.
dangerous. It's
Yeah.
not just me saying so. It's Trump's own people.
Worth
They were
noting,
with
I'm
us
living
for 4 years.
vicariously through
They're
Emhoff right
warning
now.
us
The one
that
thing
the
Best
next
life in the
I've
4
world.
years
seen
will be much,
is
much worse.
how these
You know,
families
when I was
differ
teaching
from
every
the
year,
Trumps.
we'd elect a student body president.
How
And
so?
you know what?
I
Those
mean,
they-
teenagers
I agree, but
teach
what
Donald
did you
Trump
notice?
A hell of a lot about what a leader is.
Well, they seem a lot more earthy
Leaders
and
don't spend all
earth.
day insulting
Yeah,
people.
they seem like
and
human
blaming
beings.
Others.
yeah,
seem like a
Leaders do
family.
the work.
yeah.
So I don't
The
know about
Waltzes
you. I'm ready to turn
And
the
the
page
Emhoffs,
on these
you
guys.
know?
Yeah.
So go ahead.
If I
Say
was
it with
sitting
me.
next to them
We're not
in a
going
restaurant,
back.
We
I
couldn't
wouldn't
have a
think, oh
kind.
God, you know, not going back. Not going
We've
back.
got something better to offer the American people. It starts with our candidate, Kamala Harris.
Yeah, if I was sitting next to them in a diner, I wouldn't probably even
From
take
her
notice of
first
them. But if
day
I was sitting
as a
next to the Trumps,
prosecutor,
even without
as a
knowing who they are,
district attorney,
Jesus,
as an
can I just
attorney
eat in
general,
peace?
as a
I
United
feel like,
States
oh my
senator,
God, we're
and
sitting
then
right
our
next to
vice
the
president,
assholes
who
in
she's
this
brought
place.
on the side of
Yeah.
the American
Yeah.
people.
Like it would,
She's
like
taken
they
on the
just you'd see
predators
him
and
come through the door and be
fraudsters.
like, oh,
She's
fuck
taken
is
down
this?
the transnational
You know what's
gangs.
funny, though,
Please
is-
tell
She
me
stood
they're
up
not
for
having the
powerful
intervention
corporate
here.
interests. She has never hesitated.
That's
to
what I
reach
would
across
think.
That aisle
I saw
Right.
DJ.
meant improving your
That's
lives.
good.
And
The
she's
Eric
always
Trump's
done it
family used to take pictures of
energy,
themselves wearing ski
with
clothing that
passion,
I
and with
designed.
joy.
If you can believe that, they would take family pictures
Folks,
of themselves at resorts, and I'm like, I designed that shit.
Oh
Fine.
We've
my
got
God.
a chance to make Kamala
It's
Harris
like
the
kidding.
next
mainly
president of the
what their
United
kids
States.
would wear, but little things like hats and gloves and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you
That's
feel like the
cute.
fancy
But I
Oppenheimer?
think we owe it to the American people to tell
My
them
God, what have I
exactly
done?
before we ask them
Like
for
I
their
thought this
vote.
was
That
going
was
to end
funny.
This is
austerity,
the part.
not
Clip and save it and
push
send
it.
it to your undecided relatives so they know. If you're a middle class family or a family trying to get into the
That's a
middle
good
class,
one, Jake.
Kamala Harris is going to cut your taxes. If you're getting
But
squeezed by
mine.
prescription drug prices,
She is
Kamala
apparently.
Harris is going to take on big
No.
pharma.
They're sucking money from me from.
If you're hoping to
2
buy a
years now.
home, Kamala
I
Harris
wish they
is
would
going to
just
help
say,
make it
"You're
more
old now.
affordable.
You don't have to do this anymore."
God, yeah,
And no
that would be
matter who
lovely.
you are,
I have to write them a
Kamala
letter
Harris
and
is going to stand
try.
up and fight for your freedom
A,
to live
you
the
should,
life
and
that
B,
you want
this
to
is
lead.
fantastic messaging. He's being
Because
real
that's
specific.
what we want
If
for
you're middle
ourselves,
class, as in if
and
you're
it's
not a
what we
rich
want
prick,
for our neighbors.
sorry for cursing. They're gonna cut
You
your
know, you
taxes,
might not know it, but I haven't
and that
given a lot of
primes
big
these
speeches
people
like
who are
this.
hearing this stuff for the first time for listening for
But I
when
have
Trump
given
is
a lot of
going
pep
to
talks.
cut rich people's taxes. It's
So
just
let me-
getting them.
let me
It's
finish
not
with
most
this,
people won't, but a
team.
few will in every crowd. And it's important we drive a wedge
It's the
between
fourth
us and the lizard
quarter.
people who have all of our money,
We're
which
down a
is the
field
Elon
goal,
Musks and the
but
Jeff
we're on
Bezos of
offense
the
and
world.
we've got the ball.
The
We're
Yeah.
driving down the field.
I refuse to acknowledge them
And
as
boy,
members
do
of
we
the
have
proud
the right
Great Ape
team.
family.
Kamala Harris is tough.
The way
Kamala
this guy
Harris
tells
is
speeches
experienced,
is as
and
if
Kamala
every
Harris
line is the end
ready.
of the speech.
He's
I
kind
thought
of
he
like,
ended it
I
10
think-
times.
I
Our
think
job-
he's being the
our job-
coach.
our
I
job
I think
thought-
this is like he sounds like he's
Get in the
talking to the
trenches
team.
and do
You
the
could
block.
break
Yes.
every line up into its own fucking ad after
One
this.
inch
That's what
at
he's
a
doing.
time.
If
One
you
yard at
put
a
in
time.
a high school
phone
locker
call
room
at a time.
behind him,
One
I could
door
absolutely
at
see
a
this.
time.
Prairie
One
Fire. This is the best
$5
Nebraskan we
donation
could
at a
make.
time.
Second best Prairie Fire. Second best.
Second best, my
But a
friend.
fine one.
Look, we got
Second best.
76 days.
It goes
Yeah, and
That's
we'll
arguably
do
it goes
There'll be
you,
time
Brock
to sleep
Sampson,
when you're
Tim
dead.
Walz.
We're going to leave it on the field.
But Brock Sampson isn't a real person, so
That's how we'll keep moving forward.
How
That's
forward.
how we'll turn the page on Donald Trump. That's how we'll build a country where workers come first.
all right, brother man.
Healthcare and housing are human rights. Boom. And the government
That is huge.
stays the hell out of your bedroom.
And give all of stop. Give people places to live.
That's
Help
how we
the
make
people.
America a place
You have
where
to
no
understand,
child is
if
left
he's
untouched,
saying this, it's
Where
because
no
Kamala
community
gave him
is left
permission to say
behind.
this. He
where
did.
nobody gets
Uh,
told they don't belong.
yes.
Oh, you
Prairie
That's how we're
Fire
gonna
knows it.
fight. And as the
He's,
President
he's
of the United
half
States
Swedish,
always
quarter
says,
Irish, quarter
when we
Winnebago.
fight,
you think
When we
Waltz
fight-
was like taking notes from
when we fight,
Harris? Like, is this okay, or do you think he
Thank
showed it to
I mean,
like
yeah,
their
literally.
people?
In their staff
Shared it.
meetings,
I mean, if
they agree on the agreeable.
I mean, literally, he can't go up there and say like healthcare is a human right without clearing it with the campaign, because he's making a promise there. Even if they don't
Yeah.
intend to fulfill it, he's still he's saying something that that Kamala was saying early on when she was first trying to be president, and she had to back off that messaging, and she had to go less left than was her inclination. Once again, she is finding a way to make promises to the left, this time through her VP, and she can do that with him where she might not be able to do it because she has a job to do right now, and she's going to be screwing over Joe Biden if she goes too far left with her own rhetoric at this stage. After the DNC, or actually after the endorsement, maybe not. Anyway, the point being, he's saying it because the Harris campaign said he could say it, and that means they intend to address these things. Like, for example, healthcare as a
all right,
human right.
That was good.
That's universal
you-
healthcare, baby.
that you picked that up.
Housing is a human right.
Right.
Housing as a
Yeah,
human
well,
right. They're going to
But
overturn the act.
housing that doesn't destroy any more places that we don't need to be building. Housing in cities and rebuilding cities and giving
Yeah.
people opportunities where there's a lot of blight.
I actually
and
have
Attracting people to want to be in those areas and making those areas over instead of
I have a pitch for that.
sprawl. Because we have too
we have one problem, and we're about to have a second problem charging right at us. And these problems can contradict themselves, and
Mhm.
we can actually derive a solution from them. We're about to have a collapse of the not housing but real estate market. If we can hire, if the government has to bail out businesses that can no longer afford their leases, which is going to be true like in the next year, because we're finding that it's not necessary to work out of offices anymore. That lowers the value.
convert them.
Convert them.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, here's the important thing: we need to repeal I forget the name of it, but the law that limits the amount of affordable housing that the federal government can build. They just hinted in that speech with Tim Walz that is their intention. Fantastic. The other end of that is, I say if we bail out these big businesses, we have to do so with the caveat. This time there has to be an ask. It's not just, oh, you gambled and lost again, and we're going to pay your debt again. No,
Okay.
this time it's, all right, we'll buy it off of you, but it's ours now. This is affordable housing now.
Well, I also caution you from life experience that what gets built cannot be tenement style 1960s and 70s Bronx and they're burned out buildings. It has to be thoughtfully done for people, not to warehouse them, not to make it look like that we're just shoving people into these institutional like buildings. It has to be done differently, designed in a much better way than the solutions we came up with decades ago.
I think we're going to get an imperfect solution here. I think a lot of these places are going to look like an office that was converted into an apartment complex. But I'll tell you what it's better than what we're currently doing, which is nothing.
Mm-hmm. You're right. You are right.
And I'll just toss this out.
Sound
if
effect.
We get this passed, if we get this passed, it means we will also have already established the groundwork for better affordable housing. It means we'll have already gotten rid of the rule that was preventing us from building nice houses in the first place. So we can say, okay, great. Now we need to talk about the standard of living for the standard U.S. citizen. Here's people in government housing. It's fine, but it looks like an office. This really should look like, and then we go from there. It's the medical marijuana to legal weed
how
pipeline, basically.
But in the cities, they convert those buildings and they have dignity and they're like, then they sell them for millions of dollars. Just convert them, make them just not look like we're warehousing people. I just remember growing up and driving into New York City, and it was like people were just relegated off to the side. And that's a mistake that the United States can't afford to make.
Yeah. You're right.
We really can't. I guess.
And we have to clarify that the government cannot sell them. Like, all right, we will buy them. We're not selling. We are not allowed to sell them back.
You know how she said when Kamala said, we're going to build 3 million, but it's going to be through private equity somehow, taxes and private equity, because this is what we are in. We're still in that system.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
This is what I think is a valid criticism. Somebody brought this up on social media that we all know. I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not reading it verbatim, but they essentially said that Harris Walz feels like every other time Democrats have said something like kind of progressive and allow us progressives to fill in the blank, although they didn't actually say that. Do you know what I mean? Like they're leaning sort of progressive in their rhetoric, and then we start to fill in the blank when it comes to policy, although they haven't really committed to anything that's like genuinely progressive. Just thoughts on that in general. Are we doing that? I know everyone here is like, oh no, we'll continue to hold them accountable and push for our preferred policy. We will do that. But across the board, there's a lot of support for these guys right now. The progressives, the quote unquote Bernie bros of yesterday, are the first ones to say, hey, Dems, we're here. Let's do it. The left, the Democrats, let's unite. Let's get it done. Let's go. And are they just going to flip it and be same old again? Or just what do you think in general? Because I don't want to disregard those sorts of criticism, but somewhere inside of me, for the first time in my adult life, I'm like, shut up, dude. Let's just get it done. But it's valid, right? So what do you guys think?
After you, Sandy, please.
Okay. I know what you're thinking. I'm feeling that this year for the first time in a long time, that I just want to feel good about something, even if nothing is perfect, even if the big picture sucks. I want to feel good about something. And I think that we can make a difference in pushing for progressive policies because it seems like people really like them. If you just get off Twitter and don't look at all the morons talking about, oh, communists, you're communists, price controls and all the bullshit. Let's See, let's be supportive of something. I don't want to go down on the Donald Trump ship. And right now, there is no alternative. I don't care. I mean, I think people that want the duopoly to end, fine. I agree. I want all of the good things, but can they happen realistically with what we have right in front of our face today? No. So I'm going to be excited for a little while for something.
So,
and a lot of us are. Women are. We've gone
to Sandy's point, you're correct. There is no alternative. And I'll go even farther. This is not what Sandy was saying, but this is my opinion. Even when Marianne Williamson was running, there was not an alternative because realistically, she was not going to get the seat. And that is what we're talking about. Who is going to be in this particular seat of power?
But she had a conversation. She had a national conversation.
Sure. But she wasn't going to get the seat.
No, because we're set up.
The question is, who is going to be the president, and what will they do? To that end,
I'm not laughing at you.
No, to that end, all I'm saying is that whether they feel it genuinely in their hearts as something they want to do, Tim Walz just made a couple of statements that you can't walk back from. Healthcare is a human right. Housing is a human right.
Let's clip it.
Actually, yes, because I understand the suspicions of the audience, and I think those suspicions are correct. They are wise. If they can slink away from those positions later on when it's difficult to fulfill those promises, they will. So our job now is to walk the line, is to simultaneously support these two center-left yada yadas, while also increasing the odds, making it more difficult for them to walk away from those positions. Those gifts Tim Walz just gave us, whether he knew it or not. I think he did know it, but regardless.
So how do we do it?
Pitch. Yeah, well, that's a good question.
Through our Congress people?
Sort of. That's certainly one way. But right now, what we all are is online. And we've all just learned they're watching. So here's what you do.
This is,
applaud those positions. Start putting Tim Walz's face in posts and saying healthcare is a human right. Housing is a human right. I'm voting for Harris. Never mind the fact that we don't really have a choice if we want to avoid a fascist takeover. Pretend publicly like the reason you're voting for them is that very lefty thing. Associate them as much as you can with those statements so they can't walk away from them later.
Be a good campaign manager, Jake.
I'm hoping to manage the campaign on behalf of the people. I'm managing the people during this campaign.
I like it.
This is coming from a guy who can't stop touching his eye and reinfecting it. So take it with a big fat grain of salt.
Well,
and I got a big cat.
You want to know what my clever idea was to still get away with scratching my eye? I tried switching to my pinky.
What happened?
Finger's a finger.
What happened to your eye?
Well, first I got an eyelash in it, and then I tried to smush it out, and that didn't work.
Flush it with water.
Yeah, I did that. I did eventually fill the sink with hot water, and I opened my eyeball in there.
Dude,
and
go to the doctor.
What's in your water? What's in your water?
I don't care to think about it.
Yeah.
Go to the doctor. They give you a numbing drop.
Use tap water for your eyes.
And just get it out. You don't feel it. They give you little numbing drops. I've had eye injuries. Seriously. Let me
Do you have health insurance, Jake?
No, fuck no.
Oh, go to the ER, dude.
He has to go and get help
go to the ER or urgent care. Okay.
I go to Shady Jerry. There's a bridge in my town. If you go under it at the right time, Jerry's there. He'll pull anything out of you.
Jake,
we should talk about that offline.
This
is
tough.
This is the show where anything can happen. I just want to quickly address one thing that's happened to me a few times tonight and just happened in my chat. Really quick. Everyone has deeply personal and painful things happening in their lives, right? And I'm pretty much an open book on this fucking thing, but there are things I don't talk about. Just know if I'm doing something in the chat that seems like, hey, why'd you do that? It's for all of our benefit, mine especially. Okay. And tonight I've been thrown curveballs in a way that I don't even want to talk about this much. But just so everyone knows, this is why personally I don't like to go in on people, because I don't know what the fuck is going on in their life right now. And this is why I don't like to pick on people, because I don't know, even if they feels like they deserve it, I don't know what's going on in their life right now.
I don't even know what's going on in the chat.
Now there are people who will make a career out of being assholes, and I say go in on them anytime you want. They're making themselves the target. I'm talking about Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, these kind of people. But when it comes to the rest of us who are just online, who are just trying to be cool, who are just trying to have a good time, just keep it chill. That's what I'm trying to do. And so anyway, I appreciate everyone hanging out with me tonight. You two especially, because it turns out I needed it more than I thought. So thanks.
It's a hoot.
Yeah, no, I love
I like my Wednesdays because they're my night to not be under any kind of stress or tension and just have fun with you guys and talk about whatever we talk about. I miss Andrea.
So check this out. A couple of things happened to me in Greenwood, South Carolina, where I live this week that I feel like if I talk about on air, it's going to sound made up. Like that didn't happen, dude. Check this out.
All right.
So I'm walking into a grocery store, and there's this guy coming at me. And the first thing I noticed, he's a very old guy.
Yeah.
Very old white guy. First thing I noticed is a Superman t-shirt. So I was like, how are you, sir? And then I look up and I see this giant, it was a MAGA hat like I've never seen. It was a red hat with big white MAGA written across the top, right? And I was like, I all at once was like, oh shit. And then he mumbled something at me. And I kept walking because I figured he just replied, I'm pretty good. How are you? Or whatever.
Please tell me it was anti-Semitic.
He said Trump or Harris, or Trump or Kamala.
Oh, he asked you that?
And they've been doing this. There's a guy going around like in Home Depots and Lowe's with his phone out recording, asking people this question. Have you seen
why
these
are people
TikToks
answering?
or whatever?
No, I have
Some people are answering Kamala.
Because
full-throated, I'm going to answer.
Well, and so it was one of those things where
so Kamala.
Are they tracing back to where they live?
So here's the thing: like I had already walked by him, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't catch it until he was gone. But on the other hand, I was like, I'm not challenging anybody in this fucking town. Sorry, because that guy is in the Klan. That guy is like armed.
The irony.
You know what I mean? Like
while
he
wearing
is,
a Superman shirt.
Well, he's probably waiting for me to say, and I bet if I look closer, it says it's like a white supremacy take on the logo. I don't know.
Another
right?
smaller S just off to the side.
Exactly. But like, you can't trust this guy. If I was like, Harris, what do you mean? And why'd you call her Kamala? You call
Certainly
him
not
Trump
with
or her
kids.
Kamala? What the fuck is that? I'm sure, anything could happen. Not cool. So I was really taken aback by that though, because I was like, oh wow, that could happen again, But then, and this is what I mean, like this just sounds like some made up shit somebody would say who was on a show like me, like this. The next day, I'm in Walmart at in the checkout, like the self-checkout was all closed. So I just went to the first available checkout, and there's 3 women in there talking. And it honestly doesn't matter. They're women. I don't know why I said that. That doesn't.
Oh, stop.
I'm not saying it as if that lends to the story. It's 3 people were talking.
But anyway, these 3 broads were yakking.
Yeah, there you go. I could even.
It doesn't matter that it doesn't matter what gender, but they weren't waiting on me right away. I'm not in a hurry. Whatever. I don't care. And self-checkout's usually pretty busy anyway. So the one lady is saying, I'm just saying y'all should vote. And they were like, for who? Why? Do I really have to research Harris? And she goes, you sure did research Trump though, didn't you? We already had him. You know what to expect. She goes, I'm just saying y'all should vote. And then she turned to me and said, I'm sorry, sir, we shouldn't be talking about this in front of customers. And this is the part that's going to sound made up, right? If it doesn't already. I said,
I thought she was saying that to customers. Okay.
No, to coworkers.
They were
having yeah.
Because I had to say, until this point in the conversation, even though it sounds like she's voting cool, I wasn't on her side. But good. All right.
So I turned and said to the people she was talking to, I said, actually, I was going to say, not only should you should vote in the primaries, because, and they had used the lesser of two evils terminology like a second before this, right? In their conversation, I said, because then you will have a say in who you're voting for come November, and it won't be lesser of two evils. And one of them said, what was that word you just said? And I knew exactly what she meant. And I was like, I said primaries. They happen in the summer before, or they happen prior to the election, in this case, like, the summer before, right? And you have an opportunity to cast your vote for all elected officials in terms of which Democrat or which Republican you want to run. And then by that point, I was just like, I'm leaving. I'm not going to keep talking. There's other people here.
But you nailed it.
Yeah,
for
you
that
educated
I did.
them.
I walked away.
Which we should all be doing.
I felt kind of tingly. I was like, oh my God, I had just had the real life. I fantasize about this. I fantasize about saying, no, you should vote in the primaries. What are primaries? I'm glad you asked. And I had the chance. It may never happen again, but it was like weirdly transformational.
You could always stand
Gang.
on the road.
There's something to be said for
Road.
shadow boxing.
Learn about politics. I'll teach you right here on the road.
But that really happened.
I believe you.
Look,
Why wouldn't we believe you?
The only thing that's making me doubt it is the fact that you said it really happened. No, that's fantastic.
It's not lie detector night. Yeah, political lie detector night.
There's something to be said for shadow boxing. I believe this wholeheartedly. If you don't visualize, if you don't decide what you're going to do in a stressful, spur of the moment situation beforehand, you will very, very rarely do something you're satisfied with.
Yeah. Right.
So thinking about, like, don't go around looking for some way you can force a political conversation where none existed. But you should have your 5-second elevator pitch, not 30-second, not even 10-second, your 5-second elevator pitch.
But you have to be
ready
out there
for things like this.
I'm not with humans very often. Today I was.
God, I'm jealous.
You're right, Jay, because the next time somebody
Monday
says Trump or Kamala, I'm going to say JFK Jr. and Elvis Presley. The fuck are you talking about? Act like we only have these two choices? Get out of here, old man. And take that fucking shirt off.
Oh, you're voting Trump, so you're a rhino. I'm voting for the real conservative.
What? No,
Who's
think
that
of
lady
all
from
the
Canada?
things.
Wait,
Yeah.
JFK, RFK is now what? The speculation is he asked Kamala for a spot and she wouldn't meet with him. So now he's going to drop out of the race and endorse Trump, and he's going to do a news conference.
Why is that even news? It's such garbage.
Not.
Like, what else?
News on Twitter. That's where it's fucking news. That's the only place it's really news. Or, well, maybe I don't see the real news. Do they show him on MSNBC? Uh-oh. We lost the boss. Okay, ooh. Jake, do they show? I don't watch network news. He's back. I don't watch network news. Do they show stuff like, do they show RFK's campaign on network news?
Not really. Because it's, I mean, no, I take that back. Yeah.
I mean, I read it in like a major, it was a Guardian.
They do stories about RFK, sure. But they only talk about him as a spoiler, which is, I think, fair.
And brain worms.
Yeah. Well, they don't like to cover the
worm.
Certainly, and they're not covering Jill Stein. I mean, they're not covering Cornell West.
Right. Mm-mm. What are all the things that we could say though? Like if somebody says Trump, Kamala, how could you really throw? You could be like,
I talk about the environment. I do talk.
Like, what's the answer to just totally?
I mean, yeah, I want you to have healthcare.
I encourage you to. There, fucking A. I'm sitting here trying to make a joke, and you guys are right.
Yeah.
Say healthcare, lower taxes,
environmental concerns. I'm in a farming area, and I talk to people about that. You don't want toxic sludge on your farms, right?
Where I am, I could say a clean lake.
Yeah, there you go. because Donald J. Trump, and as Emerald View in my chat, what does she call him? Orange sleaze bag. Anyway, she said, I say he's the extinction president. He will hasten human extinction a lot faster than it's already happening.
Or if you want to communicate to them about environmental policy, but you want to speak to somebody in a MAGA hat more likely cares about, you say Harris, because I want you to be able to eat the meat you hunt without getting cancer. We need a stronger EPA.
That's a good, a definite, right. And then Noah, if they want to get, I don't think half of these people do not believe that I've spoken with. They do not believe that they go, they can't implement 2025. I'm like, who the hell is they? They don't know who they are. They are the deep state. They are the real deep state. I keep saying
they literally are trying to make a deep state with 2025. That's what the plan
are.
Is.
Yeah,
it's not just a conservative LinkedIn.
No,
be clear.
It's not.
It is also a conservative LinkedIn.
Yeah,
but it's not just a conservative LinkedIn. Yes.
Yeah. Shit, some of the stuff I see on Right Wing Watch, I do see that they will tape these clips of these insane people saying the sickest shit. These preachers, these evangelicals, I mean, really talking and about how nobody else's religion is valid, and you can't run if you're a Hindu. And I mean, unreal, these clips they find. What? Oh, really? You want to call it?
I'm dying for a Jake. I'm vain enough that that's all I care about now.
That's pretty good.
That's all I want to hear is a Jake impersonation.
Actually, I have this. Okay.
The doctor slapped his mother. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a funny chat. I was just reading Jan. When Trump was born, the doctor slapped his mother.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was really good, Jan.
Cracking me up.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Funny.
Okay. Speaking of Tucker Carlson.
I'm tired.
This is funny, man. I watch.
Speaking of Tucker Carlson.
I am obsessed with this clip of Britney Spears talking about Pepsi to Tucker Carlson. Have you ever seen this? I will just every now and then I'm like, I'm gonna watch that clip again. I am obsessed with her. She is obtuse, irreverent, cool, kind of punk,
and much smarter than Tucker Carlson.
You have it? Are you showing us the clip?
You want to watch?
Yes. I haven't seen it.
I just have to preface it with
not show
Remember, I live in like the Doomosphere.
I just have to preface it with I'm not the kind of guy that would watch this sort of thing, but I watch it over and over and over. Just tell me if you share at all what I'm feeling.
Oh God, it's back when he was on CNN. Good Lord.
Oh, now it's not going to play. Oh,
China interfering with a U.S. politics show.
Stand by. I don't know why it's not playing. Hold on. It's because I played it out. That's why. Played it like 1,000 times already. Here we go. I got it. I don't know.
You somehow wore it out like an old school VHS tape.
Like all my Star Wars tapes have like that really bad tracking.
Side note, I want to do a video with that like edited in.
Yeah.
I just missed like that lo-fi feel.
Yeah. Okay. Hold
on.
Here we go. Here we go. I'm sorry.
Come on.
I'm so bad at this, but really.
Oh my God.
Candidly, just between you and me, how much?
Chewing gum.
I really do like Pepsi.
Really? What's your favorite kind?
Do. My favorite kind of Pepsi. Pepsi's Pepsi.
Well, you don't drink Diet Pepsi or
no,
Pepsi
just regular Pepsi.
Hold on, we gotta watch. Hold on. He's like candidly.
Do you think? Hold on. Candidly, just between you and me, how much Pepsi do you think you drink on an average day?
I really do like Pepsi.
Really? What's your favorite kind?
Do. My favorite kind of Pepsi. Pepsi's Pepsi.
Well, you don't drink Diet Pepsi or
no,
Pepsi
just regular Pepsi.
That was what it was. The sugar.
I'm fucking obsessed with that clip. There are so many. The more you watch it, the more there is to look at. There's
really
the look on her face where she's like, Pepsi's Pepsi. You know, she's giving that look like,
asshole. Fuck you.
Kind of Valley Girl.
Yeah.
It's kind of Valley Girl, but it's also like, I'm worth so much money. I don't care about you, like expression, but she's also just being herself. I don't know what it is.
Instinctually knew she was talking to somebody evil. Like, I don't have to respect this person.
He probably smelled like cigarettes. Right?
He probably smells like whatever abandoned children smell like.
Oh
Or
my
children
God.
raised by nannies, maybe.
Stop.
Well, why do I like that
Yeah,
clip so
abandoned
much?
children.
Is she wearing a wig?
Why do you
There's
like
so
clip?
much.
It looked like a wig.
There's so much shit going on in that.
A
That
lot
I'm
of
like,
weird
it was
stuff.
very genre, her younger, just snap.
We got to find a way to work in Pepsi's Pepsi.
Pepsi's
Like
Pepsi.
if somebody's like, why do you keep calling Republicans Nazis? Pepsi's Pepsi.
Sam Cedar used to be on. I guess he was doing some sort of pundit thing on CNN. He would go out back and smoke when he used to smoke, and Tucker Carlson would be out there smoking too. Sam tells this story now and then, and he says that it was all shtick. Tucker would talk openly about how he's just doing whatever he's got to do, and
like leave it at the
And he used to. I think Tucker Carlson was the one who used to criticize Bill Riley for having shtick, and then basically just started doing that.
Yeah. When he realized Bill Riley was never going to get caught for that. Prairie Fire. That clip felt AI for some reason.
It's older than AI though. Like I've been watching that clip is older than TikTok. I mean, it's been online more than or longer than it didn't just show up
I had never
for
seen
TikTok. Yeah, I forget where I saw it originally. TikTok. I think I saw it on TYT, to tell you the truth. This would have been a long time ago, but it is I'm like fucking obsessed with it. I couldn't even tell you a Britney Spears song right now. Like I have no idea. I know she had some troubles with her estate and her father or something like that. I don't know what I'm talking about. She shaved her head on camera one time, which also sounds cool unless she was having a breakdown, but I don't know.
Was.
Oh,
okay. So that's it's not cool, but
that interview. I say that I know it was real. I don't know that it was real, but obviously because of the context, I know. But my point is that if it was when Tucker Carlson was on CNN, that was right at the height of her understandable mental issues. She was basically Shamu. She was
basically a great dancer.
And a pretty good singer. I know she wasn't.
I liked her dancing,
Aretha, but
like Madonna.
Yeah.
And
hey, I have respect
I love
for
dancing.
all the other Musketeers.
But my point is, she was like, she was a living creature who was held in captivity and made a lot of money for other people.
Yeah,
it sucked.
That is a problem with a lot of younger people in show business, but not so much when it's discovered, or it's not happening as much in the public eye. Maybe I don't know.
What kind of question is that, though? Like, candidly, how much Pepsi do you drink?
Matt's really. You're right.
It's like when they used to ask the Beatles, "What kind of shirts do you wear?" And they're like, "White button-up collared shirts." What? Get the fuck out of here!
Here's the thing, though.
That's wild. It's so.
It's like
it's so.
It's gonna live in your head for a while now.
It is.
It is.
Pepsi's Pepsi.
But what's he supposed to ask her? What the fuck is he supposed to ask her?
Well, he had nothing
performing?
relatable.
How do you sing and dance at the same time?
But he has obviously no understanding of what she did.
No,
really.
No, she's like
he
chewing
did
that
not
gum.
ask her about the dancing and the art, and to what she did.
This is a rare time. He was trying to call her fat. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, because he was like Pepsi Zero, and she's like Pepsi's Pepsi.
That's what it was?
Maybe.
That can't be.
That makes sense
When was
given
she
the
fat?
context of his career.
Was a dancer.
Well, you don't have to be fat for.
Carlson.
Yeah.
I'm glad you spared me. I was going to say, like, what about his training would have made, like, there's a reason there's entertainment reporters specifically. But now that you point that out, it makes sense within his career, and fair enough.
Yeah, like, you don't have to have. They want you to have a disorder, basically. They want you to be like, why aren't you anorexic? Is basically what they're asking. You know what I mean? They're like, how come you're not impossibly thin all the time, no matter what?
Congratulations
and I always thought,
to this
like,
generation, because that does not fly anymore.
I don't really know. Yeah, exactly, dude. Thank you for ending that shit. I'm so sick of it. But I don't, like I said, I don't know a lot about Britney Spears, but I always gotten the impression she was kind of like she could arm wrestle me, you know? Like she seemed like she was in great shape,
Well,
right?
she
I
was.
mean,
She is.
She worked out and she worked at her craft. I'm sure, listen, she had kids and bodies change, but she's kept herself as with the things that happened to her. I thought she did fine.
Yeah. Go, Brittany,
Nobody
go.
has it easy. She
Oh,
wasn't allowed to
Jesus.
have sugar. It was in her conservatorship paper. Oh my God.
Good on
Maybe
you, man.
that might be why he mentioned that.
What a
Because
scumbag.
he knew
What a narc.
if that was the time. But what's the time period? I don't know. This is such trivia that I would not really know. But what's really normally ever think about. But what is the time period that this conservatorship
yeah, I'm gonna let you try and say it. When her dad was
Conservatorship.
ruining her life.
So when was the time period and would Tucker have known about that? Was that in the news at that time? And was that his
It's-
snarky, disgusting way of trying to out her on TV from her conservatorship? Because sugar is a bad. It's. I mean, maybe she was sensitive to sugar.
I do think it's funny as hell that she was in a Pepsi ad, but doesn't realize there's more than one kind of Pepsi. She's like, Pepsi's Pepsi. I'm sure Pepsi's like, no.
Yeah.
We've got 10 kinds. What are you doing? There's the lime one, the clear one.
Our varietals.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's conservatorship, and everybody's actually seems to know the story.
Wow. Yeah. Let me just say for the record, I heard. I don't even now. I can't call him out specifically. Well, it's probably good. I heard somebody talking about like why some musician wasn't like coming out in support of this candidate or that, or saying like, well, they really have to if they. I think it was maybe even Majority Report. Let me just be clear. No, they don't. No musician has to support anybody. There's such a thing as supporting the wrong person. If somebody comes out and supports Donald Trump, yeah, they're a bad human being, and you shouldn't purchase their music. Pirate it if you must listen to them, but don't purchase their music. Don't help them be a bad person. But the opposite is not true. You don't have to know anything about politics. You're nothing. It's in the same way I was going to defend Tucker Carlson there. Thank God I didn't. But nothing about becoming like a soul singer means you suddenly understand how economics works, nor should you be expected to. You can just sing if you want. You can sing and not comment on this stuff if you want. The only caveat I say is that as a rich person, which you are if you're a famous musician usually, as a rich person, you've got to be aware of your privilege. You can't, if you're taking the private jet everywhere, you have to acknowledge that you're killing the environment. You got to knock it off. Right. You got to go fly around with us gross peasants. But other than that, shout out to the vapid musicians. You're allowed to be a vapid musician. And the trade-off for that is that we're allowed to enjoy the music of people with maybe not evil political opinions, but not great political opinions.
Oh, like Ted Nugent?
No, he's evil. I can't. I love Stranglehold. I can't listen to it anymore because it bums me out.
I saw him, but in Buffalo, but he's awful personality.
Once upon a time, I enjoyed rock.
But he's got a pretty shitty personality, in my opinion.
Yes.
What I've seen.
That's my point.
I would not want to sit down and have a conversation with him because I would feel like I need to like scratch my eyeballs out or ears. Probably. And I've talked to people like him that think like him. I know people like him.
God,
just without the money.
Oh, that's even that's
money.
Very heartbreaking. Oh, sovereign citizen alert, man.
Ready for a weird question from Matt?
Yeah.
It's political. Well, maybe.
A political question? To me?
Well, democracy, because we keep talking about we got to save democracy. Democracy is based on political equality and provides equal rights to all citizens to contest elections and cast their votes, right?
Yeah.
Now, is democracy politics?
Yes. Democracy is politics, because the politics is the umbrella term, I
Politics
suppose.
is messy and a lot of lies and deals and backroom shit. Is democracy that?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Let me say, democracy is politics. Politics is not what you just said.
Okay,
that is shorthand for the business of democracy. When they say it's just politics, that's a bit like me. That's a bit like me saying it's just Wall Street when you're talking about an asshole flying by you in like a nice car and then parking in a handicapped space. It's not actually saying, well, that's just what is necessary to trade. It's saying that's just what happens when people are yada yada yada.
Okay.
But I do think
Thanks,
fundamentally,
man. That's
politics is the business of coming up with laws, and in order to do that in a democracy, you need to convince people, and that connection between messaging and policy making will always be relevant.
Yeah, I was getting hung up on that. Okay. I was like, just one of those weird thoughts you have, and then it rolls around.
Yeah.
I was like, let me ask the LPT crew.
I like that.
No, that's good though, because to me, it's like I know what democracy is, and I hate what politics is. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's how I look at
Yeah.
those things. And politicians keep saying we have to save democracy, and I'm like, what do they mean?
As with
Don't
all,
Not be Donald Trump. Not be Donald Trump. Not have a dictator. Not rain on their parade, their financial parades. I mean, the interests of
Well,
people.
I love that because look, I'm old enough to remember 2016, 2017, probably even 2018 when people were like, stop using fascism. That's not what this is. Stop calling people racist and Nazis. And now
Oh, bullshit. I was doing it.
everyone's like, they're fascist, racist, Nazis, authoritarians. They're going to take democracy.
I
They're going
did
to kill
use that.
democracy.
I
No,
had
but
a
like the
sign that said that.
mainstream
Oh.
media and Democrats,
Because
now
they read
everyone's doing it.
2025. That's why.
It's out
And they
there.
see the power that the evangelical church and
Once
the
they show
Opus
you who they
Dei-
are, believe them.
Yes.
And
they
so
have.
now it's out there. And so at the DNC, like I said in Jake's chat the other night during Biden's thing, I guess, where I was like, it's fucking crazy that we're actually fighting to save democracy
Yeah.
this time. Like this
I
is
just think
real.
that would happen in my lifetime.
And
right?
And what we're actually and so I guess what we're doing is we're already fighting fascism.
Yeah.
So we're the anti.
Okay, well, what about these people on Twitter? that
Right,
go,
we're
"Oh,
Antifa."
well, you know what?
Yeah.
Everybody's a fascist, and Democrats are fascists too. Oh, I hate that argument right now.
It's just
It's not the same.
they could be coming out. They could be
It's not
coming
the
out
same.
saying, "Wait, say that again, Sandy. I'm sorry."
Well, when I hear the same thing that Democrats are fascist too, they're fascist too. They're not fascist like we are looking at being on the precipice of. They are corrupt. I mean,
You
there's,
cannot convince a fascist to adopt a few progressive policies, right? Like,
Right.
you cannot convince
Right.
a fascist to even temporarily end child poverty without it making them more fascist somehow, right? So, like, this is to me,
I
you're right.
respectfully disagree, but go ahead.
Well, but you know what I'm saying is like a fascist would only do the right thing if there was like all kinds of backhanded things happening.
They will reach out as though they're going to do the right thing in order to
And
get
not
into
do it.
power. There's a reason the Nazis
populism.
were National Socialists. It's because the socialists were very popular, and they used that popularity. They said, we're going to be like the socialists, but we'll be nationalist socialists. And it won't surprise you to hear they cut way down on the socialism and way up on the nationalism. Similarly, in Chile, we should always hope for the... Oh, shoot. Yes, exactly, Bob Carmody. I'm proudly Antifa, like my grandpappy. But also in Chile, all right, I don't want to, I'm going to mess up the name, but basically the dictator that took over and imposed neoliberalism immediately crashed the economy And in order to save the economy, he kept the nationalization of the person before him for the, I think, oil industry, oil or steel. But the point being, he did a very progressive thing because progressives run governments well. Thank you, Pinochet. He kept the very progressive policy that saved the country, but he was held up by Reagan as like this. I respectfully disagree, but go ahead. Fuck no. I'm in the room with Tin Pool. I'm calling him to see you next Tuesday and getting kicked off in 30 seconds. It's not good strategy. You shouldn't do it if you get the opportunity. I'm just saying I don't have the willpower. My point being, they will sometimes do progressive things, but it doesn't mean they're progressives. It means they're trying to trick you.
That's basically what I was saying. But I think that in this case, this is my original point. Not saying it. Let's digress. Is this fucking show? But
no, I'm now just thinking about what you said.
Could the DNC be saying, like, all these speakers, and I'm not watching it like full time, so maybe they have, but are they saying that we're fighting fascism and authoritarianism as much as they're saying we need to save our democracy? Because I don't want that to become a slogan. I like never go back. Great. Okay, fine. Have slogans. That's fine. Rah, rah. But if we're being serious about saving and preserving democracy, then we should be serious about what we're saving it from. And we should be as vocal about that. As long as everyone's cool with using, that F word now and the R word and the N word, like Nazi, racist, fascist, authoritarian. As long as we're cool with that.
None of those are the words I thought they were at first.
Right. But let's say, and like the C word, Christmas. But like, let's say those words. Do you know what I mean? Let's have those. Let's call them weird all you want. They seem to really hate that, but they're fucking fascist.
F word, yes. I agree. I think say whatever you want as long as it is true and it catches on. So, you want to say we're trying to save democracy. If it catches on, if people are into it, that happens to be true, so go for it. If you want to say we're not going back, that also happens to be true. We're saying we're not returning to Trump style anything, and Trump specifically. Good. That's
I would like them to define democracy because Bernie did it on television not long ago. He said we're not a democracy, we're an oligarchy. So we're fighting to preserve what we have, but we must have a change, and it only is going to happen if we get money out of politics. And it's never going to change if that doesn't change.
We can message to the right on this, by the way. We can say, all right, Miriam Adelson right now just offered our candidate a bunch. No, actually, never mind. She just offered your candidate a bunch of money to go do this policy overseas. You guys don't like that, for example, a rapper met with Joe Biden earlier. This is a thing that happened. It was going, I think it was maybe Common. I don't even remember. But a rapper met with Joe Biden and basically said, I'll give you a lot of money if you do this, this, and this. And it was all stuff I would have liked. But you know what they both are? Whether you like them or not, they're both oligarchs. Because that is what an oligarch does. They have gathered a ton of money because our politics are corrupt and they live in a system where they can gather that much money. And they're allowed to use that money as they see fit within our system to influence it. That's an oligarch. So, hey, right-wingers, you know what you have to do? I'm not even going to ask you to vote for our person. I might ask you to just stay home because all your people love the oligarchy. But mostly what I'm going to ask you to do, and I encourage everybody to do this, write your senator, right-wingers, and express that you want to get big money out of politics. You will be surprised how many of them feel they are not being bribed appropriately and are willing to do so.
That's very well said. And I like how this comment is worded by one of my favorite members of the chat. Please tell us more. Were you saying you weren't saying that?
No,
I think
but like it sounds, I just love how that's worded.
Oh, it's good. Let me pull up the deets 1 second. Chile Pinochet
Wikipedia.
nationalized.
Yep,
Well,
great.
I'm hoping there's a Wikipedia article. I don't think I'm gonna get that lucky. Nationalized industry is what I'm typing in. The nationalization of Chilean copper industry, commonly described as Chileanization of copper. The Allende years. There it is. Okay, so Allende nationalized industries over in Chile. I hope that's the correct guy. The U.S. freaked out. Mila Reason, you're correct. That is what I said. So this guy named Allende nationalized a bunch of industries. And guess what? It was the U.S. that was running those industries. We were basically sucking Chile's resources.
I remember that.
The U.S. helped Pinochet with a little coup over there. Pinochet was a dictator who then was used as a test case by a little douchebag by the name of Friedman for neoliberalism. So taking just basically making decisions by letting business people say how things go. Unregulated capitalism. It immediately crashed the economy. You're mispronouncing.
It was Allende.
Allende. Okay.
I
We all
grew
knew
up
that.
hearing that on the radio.
So after the Allendale
Get his
coup,
ass, Mila.
Yeah.
So after this happens, Pinochet crashes the economy with hyper supercharged neoliberalism. To save the country, he had to reinstate some of his policies.
Miende.
Allende.
It's shocking that a honky from the suburbs knows this much. Can we just marvel at that? All right. So he had to reinstate some of his policies. This was very progressive, these policies. Some amongst very regressive other policies. And he did save the country by doing that. And it was through socializing, essentially, the apparently copper industry. The one thing to note is that the Reagan administration took this as a sign that neoliberalism works. And that's why America is where it is right now. Milo giving Jake a lesson? What the? Rewind and play it at a half speed, sir, because I just took everyone to school. I knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, you did a Harvey.
Mama told me I was good too often because I have way too much self-confidence.
Wow. I'm surprised I'm still awake. I drove to Buffalo and back today.
What?
You're
just now telling us? What the hell? Why was that?
It's a 3-hour round trip.
Damn.
But I fart around on the way and I'll fart around on the way back. And it's a beautiful drive. And today was actually a beautiful day, although it was freezing. It's probably 50 degrees here, which is really ridiculous and unseasonable for August here at night. 50. All my plants outside are looking at me like, what the fuck, Mom? I mean, everything is just shocked by it got cold, it got hot. It's been a difficult year that way in the garden.
It felt like autumn here. So I shared a graphic, the title card for the story I'm going to read on Halloween.
Oh.
Put it on Discord and showed it to my, nothing like super fancy, but it just put me in the mood.
Well, you're willing to show it
fall
again?
I'm not in the fall mood. Oh, pumpkin cut.
So it's like pumpkin guts.
Yeah.
So it's the,
I'm thinking.
I wanted to add like some drips to the letters to make them look like that, but I don't know. So anyway,
I'm looking forward to reading Pumpkin Goots. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna read the whole thing in one sitting on Halloween. And Halloween, I think, is on a Thursday.
All right, I won't do a show on Halloween because
no, I'm not gonna do it on a Thursday. I'll probably do it the prior Monday.
Me and Jennifer used to. Oh, it's on a Thursday. It's not our night either. We used to do a Halloween show every year.
Oh, we should celebrate the whole week. Can we dress up for Halloween on our show?
I like doing that. Yes, we will do that. We did. Me and Jennifer did anyway.
Nice. So we'll just have like a Halloween week.
Oh, me, I was just alone. I dressed up as Tammy Lauren. Yeah, Tammy, Kimberly Lauren Gargoyle.
I
had fun.
what was it?
Holy
Oh, and
shit.
I'm gonna
Looney
start
Tunes.
my in
Dressed as Johnny Bolt.
September
start
for
what?
4 weeks. I'm gonna start up the reading my new book on Fridays.
Well,
Cool,
that's good.
dude.
I like
That's
that.
Doing
awesome.
it 4
Will it be
parts.
like after me then if I get
Yeah,
over at
it's gonna be
10
like
and then
at 10
I
o'clock.
shuttle everybody over to you so I keep my
Sure.
show to an hour. Try to
Sure.
keep it to an hour. It's really hard, but I got to because I
I
think it would be better.
I finished it like a little over a week ago. I've done 2 rewrites. I just cannot stop. I don't even think it's like that good, but I love it.
Good. We'll
and
love it too.
Can
and
I
I
just say,
outlined the next one already. So like I'm just gonna keep going.
to me, that's where the joy of writing
Yeah.
is. That's like I've not been proud of a lot of things that I've published that looked really professional. And the
Yeah.
stuff I'm most proud of is the stuff that's like, I don't know how to put this. Like it's just the stuff. I think when you write and your soul really goes, or when you make art and your soul really goes into it, you're making the art you wish had been made already. You know,
Right. Exactly.
Shake have to be Mr. Pink. Steve
I
Buscemi's
don't want to
a
write.
hero. That's why.
I used to think
Yes.
I wanted to be a writer, but I wrote so much at work and for my career and writing,
Mm.
but it was business writing and policy writing. But I don't want to write because I read all
Mm.
these other writers on Substack and Medium that are excellent, and they're saying what I would say anyway. So I use their stuff sometimes because they're great.
You're definitely an
just
artist, though.
I
I've
like
seen your
making
show.
videos.
I
Yeah.
do a big fancy intro in the style that I do because I think I told you this in
I
Discord
love your
already. I'm
intro.
basically
The
copying you.
dancing one. Well, I love creativity and I like learning a show that teaches about something most of the time when I do my own
Yeah.
show. We go through videos and learning and then I'll find something that teaches like we did the Tuesday night was teaching about the water cycle because the flooding was in the news, but not everybody understands the whole water cycle. We did that. And then we went into an article about how to deal with the changes, how to prepare yourself, what to do. Everybody's going to need extra flood insurance and then people that own properties, but who can afford all this? So there's a lot of things going on out there in the world that
Yes.
revolve around weather too.
I want to mention it's
climate.
after 12:30
I
a.m. on the East
know.
Coast. We started late. My fault. I apologize profusely forever about that, and I forgot how long we'd actually been going. So sorry.
So I do just want
I'm
to
having a
say
good
this
time.
has been
Oh, I'm tired.
WYCD WYCD. That stands for what you can.
Oh, he did a Jexit, so he went first.
Look, here's the thing, Sandy,
A
and
Jexit.
you can go whenever you want. I think that writing, even if no one's ever going to see it, if you have any kind of idea, it's really
Put it
fun to
down.
do because you'll just be kind of thinking about it and writing it in your head the rest of the time. And so, like, sometimes if you're, like in your case, your head's on your pillow, you wish you could fall asleep. All you're thinking about is floods and wildfires and the climate. You
It's not
start
all I
you
think about.
start thinking about your
It's when I'm
your
planning
story.
my
You
show.
start thinking about your creative writing, and then you're out. And it's a peaceful
That's a
thing
good
to do.
exercise
Yeah,
because I
and
get
so
insomnia.
I always go to sleep that way. And so that's why, even though I just finished this one and all the rewrites, like I'm on to the next one. Like I started outlining it today and I was like, oh, okay,
That's
cool. I know how to
awesome.
do this.
I wish I had more time. I think that would be
Well,
if
and
I
there's,
had more time, I try to make time to do those things, and then I find myself otherwise engaged or preoccupied with something when I try to write, and that's why I just sort of gave up.
I treat it like a warm up
Yeah.
too.
But
Sometimes I'm
you're
like,
natural. You're just such a natural.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes I have to write an interview and I'm like, I'm just going to write like a page of this and I'm 2 chapters in. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'll do the interview. It's
Because
switching
it
gears. This is good.
flows so easy. I'm very critical. I'm writing and then I'm like, okay, this isn't good enough. And I have to change this. It's too much for me.
Well, it's like, I know it sucks.
I'm
And
perfectionist.
I'm not a good
Oh,
writer. That's why I always use the excuse I'm a better storyteller than
yeah,
a writer.
I
Like,
like
so I
that.
write it in the way that I'm gonna say it out loud. Like we're all sitting around a
Yeah.
campfire. Nobody's gonna be like,
You're
You
a
ended
great
the sentence
sto-
with a
but
preposition.
you're
You don't do that,
great.
dude.
I like your storytelling.
And
Absolutely. I can't wait for that to start after Friday. I mean,
and this
on
one is a
Friday.
lot of
Yeah.
dialogue.
All
A
right.
lot of dialogue. And that's because I was like, people don't speak grammatically correct. So I don't have to write grammatically correct because it's dialogue.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like
Yeah.
people talk poorly all the time and it's totally
I do.
acceptable.
Wanna
I
gonna.
am right now.
Mine are the worst. Wanna and gonna. And I do that when I dictate into the phone to my family or whatever. And then I think,
Yeah.
oh no, I have to change this. I have to go back in and edit because it comes out wanna and gonna. And then I
I say I don't
so
know.
slangy. I never did
use
that in my job.
yeah, well, on the job. But I always use the word DUNNO. I don't know.
Oh, dunno.
I
Dunno.
don't know. I
Dunno.
can't even really
I don't
say it
know.
right, but I
I
type
don't
it a
know.
lot. Oh, I don't know. But
That's
this
your standard. Yeah, I'm getting rid of you. I don't know.
you're right. Don't ask me. But
Right.
this one, and no,
Yeah.
literally, please don't ask me. Ask anybody else. Leave me alone. But this story, the world deals or has been, the topic of death is everywhere in the world. And I feel like I've personally been going through it. And so I use this story to process that subject.
That's good. And that'll probably
Yeah.
help everybody that listens.
Yeah.
So
And it
it's
got
kind
me
of
thinking.
story and therapy.
Yeah. And it seriously,
go,
because
yes.
it got me thinking, like, I mean, when I die, I want to go like my grandfather did, peacefully, sound asleep, not like the rest of the people in his car screaming for their lives when he drove right over that cliff.
Oh my God. Oh, I think it's time to go. What did you? I got the visual. I got it.
I'm sorry.
I got it. I got it. Yeah. It
I just
sounds
had
like
to
a
work that one in.
Netflix movie.
That was a sign up at the barber shop that I used to go to in Colorado for years. So I read that joke over and over.
Yeah, that was a good one. You got me. Hey,
Sorry.
you got me. No, why are you sorry? It was
Bad
good.
jokes. You have to
Bad
apologize
jokes.
after.
I make jokes
bad
to my
joke.
whole show. I make snarky jokes though, because I'm reading the most intense shit and we're talking about intense topics. And then my snark is just being sarcastic about the situation we're in.
You can't keep getting away with this.
That
Awesome.
was good. That was good. All right. Well, I'm gonna say goodnight. I am
thanks for
very tired.
Thank you so
And
much. Sorry we went late. I totally
That's all
lost
right.
track of time after
That's all right.
starting late. My bad.
I gotta
I owe you.
to my chat Friday night. Don't forget, State of the Planet. All your favorites are coming back to talk about how fucked we are. So
Be
you
there.
have to come. You gotta be there. I'm
Do that.
honest. I'm honest. It probably won't be the easiest show. I got an oceanographer, a meteorologist, and two researchers. That's that are looking at scary shit. So come, we'll support you. I'll be there. So yeah.
Yasmin Aliyah Khan will be on my show Monday night,
Ooh.
9 p.m. Eastern.
Good
right here.
one. Yes. I look forward to that.
We might have a
Yeah.
guest next Wednesday here. We'll see.
Do
Got
tell
a couple
or
of
not yet?
potentials.
Okay.
Potentials. Might be Antonio.
I like
Never
the
know.
guy from that you were with tonight.
Harvey K.
No, the veteran on the
Oh, Mac.
Revolution.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah, I would like to have him come on with us.
He does Wednesdays over there.
Oh, that's a drag. He's pretty he's intense. I liked him. I like him.
He's right
Okay.
on.
All right, sweetie. Good night. Good night, everybody. Peace out. We'll see you on Friday. I'm too tired to even function. So
I was just pretending I didn't really fall asleep on you. I wouldn't do that.
good night, Matt.
Good night, yeah, let's do like the Waltons. Good night, Sandy.
Good night, Matt.
Good night, Jake.
Good night, Jake. Good night, Jan. Good night, Nina. Good night, James. Good night,
night, Andrea.
Matt.
Good night, Mila.
Andrea.
Good night, Latino Mufuni. Good night, Donald James. Good night, Bob Carmody. Good night, Randy Greer. Good night, Public Utility. Good night, Pinkerbell.
Look at that. We
Good
love
night,
you
Annie
guys.
Fitzgerald.
Emerald
Good night,
View.
Johnny Too Late FTV.
Love
Good
you,
night, Nita
Ambrose.
Canadian.
We got
Good night.
mwah.